Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean, spelled like Jean.
And my name is John with a silent H.
And this is episode number 24 of the Work for Change podcast. We've made it 24 episodes and it's super exciting. I said we weren't going to talk about it, but let's just do it. I'm talking into a new microphone.
Yep.
And it feels like gold.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Like if gold were caressing down my vocal cords.
God, I thought you were going somewhere else there. I was like, we don't need to do, that's not this kind of podcast, so.
That is what it feels like talking to this microphone. So, one of two.
Yeah, we're going to get another one soon, but, you know, hey, we ain't billionaires, so.
Yeah. We're slowly making
small steps, okay,
slowly
guys?
making our way there.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, we really are excited about creating, like, awesome stuff for you. It doesn't always mean audio upgrades, but when it does mean audio upgrades, it's exciting
fun.
and it's
good
fun
stuff.
So if you guys would be so kind, if you're enjoying this podcast, as someone said once before, it's the most, what was it, like unprofessional professional podcast or something like that, where it's like
it's the best worst podcast.
Yeah, the best worst podcast. If you're enjoying the best worst podcast out there, please rate us on iTunes, give us a like on YouTube, subscribe there, watch us on iTunes, watch us on Spotify. It's all good.
Yep.
You know, as long as all we care about is that our vocal notes are vibrating
through as many ears as possible and butts.
What? So, again, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy episode 24 of the Work for Change podcast. So last week, I thought that I was going to have a heart attack during the workout. We recall that story? Yeah, it was terrifying. I thought that I was going to drop dead right in the middle of CrossFit Dark Side, and everyone was going to be like, oh, well.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
Third one this week.
His heart couldn't take it. Mm-hmm. His poor little heart couldn't take it. But no, I survived. I survived just long enough to be able to do another workout. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday that same week. The other workout was Monday. So Wednesday comes along, and we decided to do this workout that included assault bike sprints, which if anyone's ever been on the assault bike, it is very deceiving because you have a couple seconds where it hasn't caught up to you. Mm-hmm. Pain has not yet punched you in the face, but it is winding back. And so we had a couple rounds of assault bike sprints to do 15 calories.
Three rounds, yeah.
Three rounds. So the first round to go around, I'm like, oh, this is fine, whatever. I mean, it hurt, but second round I do it, and I'm like, I don't feel so good. Like Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. But I'm like, you know what? I'm already over the hump. I've only got one left. I'm going to do it anyway. So I go and I sprint the assault bike. It is almost 10 seconds slower than the first one. And I go and I'm just like, oh, I don't feel so good. So I'm sitting out by the door and I'm like, oh, okay, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Nothing happened. But what did happen is I literally felt like my legs were just on fire and I just wanted to walk around and like try to like shake them out. And then walking around, it like got worse. Like it just felt worse. Like nothing was happening. Like I was trying to squat, I was trying to stand, I was trying to do whatever, and nothing was happening. And then I went and sat down again somewhere else. And as soon as I sat down, my body was like, hey, everything that you had, which was nothing, it was early in the morning, like we're going to get rid of it. And so for the first time in my CrossFit career, which is what?
Almost 3 years now.
Almost 3 years. Yeah. I lost my breakfast.
Yep. You threw up.
Yeah.
What, like, could you feel it coming on? Or, because I'm here, I wonder, I'm sure there's some sort of physiological, like, reason that happens. But, like, could you feel it coming on? Did you know that it was going to happen? Or was it, like, surprising when it started happening? Or could you feel it for a few seconds? Or
I don't know. It's weird because the past couple workouts, I've had a little bit of, like 19.5, I felt kind of queasy. And, like, that normally doesn't happen to me during a workout. And then I think another time I felt kind of queasy during it. It was like a toes to bar one. But then this one was like, I for sure felt like I was going to throw up after the second round. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'd probably just feel queasy again. And then I did round 3 and I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't going to. I was just in a lot of pain. Like it was like my muscles couldn't heal. Like they were just like stuck in a perpetual like contracted, And then after I finally did, then I felt like I didn't feel tight anymore. I didn't feel like it was like my whole body was reacting to it. And then like once I let it out, it was, yeah.
So did you feel better after you threw up?
Immediately.
Really?
Yeah, my legs didn't hurt. Like it literally felt like, I know last time I said like I felt like I had like baseballs in my forearms. It literally felt that same way in under my knees. Like there was like so much pressure under my knees, and so that's why I was trying to squat or stand or whatever. But then as soon as I like let it all out and I met Pukey the Clown, didn't feel any of that anymore.
So this is times when I feel like it would be nice if we were smarter. Because then we could be like, well, the reason for that is, and we can explain to the people listening, but we have no idea why that happens.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up later because that's very interesting.
Yeah,
because I was wondering that was the next thing I was gonna ask you was like, after you threw up, did you feel better, or was it just like, well, I threw up and now I still feel bad?
No, I like literally it was like an immediate. And so, as people do, when I was sitting there in my moments of pain and weakness, phones were out, people were taking pictures. You know, naturally, that's just what you do. And I remember feeling so angry at everyone. Like I was mad. I was like, don't be doing this. Like I don't feel good. Like I feel like crap. And then like, I didn't say anything because I knew that the moment I was done, I was going to be like, oh, let me see. That was funny. And so I didn't say anything then, but it was like, in that moment, like my mind was just like, get away from me. Why are you doing this? Everything was like, it was like my whole world was caving in. And then finally it was just like afterwards, I'm like, oh, let me see him. Oh, it's so funny. And I was like totally normal again. But it was really weird. It was like I couldn't get comfortable for a few minutes. Like it wasn't like an immediate thing. It was like I maybe rested 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Really? So
yeah.
it was like that long after, and then that's when you threw up?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I know that there's some people that do it, I don't want to say frequently, but that they're like, oh yeah, I threw up again. It's like it happens relatively frequently for some people.
Yeah.
That was your first time.
That was my first time. And the only reason I care about and bringing it up and even saying anything about it is because that seems to be like a CrossFit rite of passage.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Like if you like work out, and typically it's the new guy, right? You bring the new guy in, he doesn't know what he's expecting. He goes out way too hard. And usually
the new guy has eaten probably like a
if you're Ben,
carne asada fries like right before the workout or something like that.
Or like Ben, when we interviewed him, he said he had like a huge shake. The first couple times he was working out.
Every time.
Yeah, he's like, I don't understand this in his kitchen.
Yeah, I'm glad I've never gotten to that point. And I really, it's weird because it's like I really do feel like I push myself pretty hard, but I've gotten to a point like where I thought maybe, but it never to a point where I was like actually like maybe gagging or anything like that. It was always just like, oh, maybe, no, I'm good. That was about as far as I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I wonder, like, so that's like when there's like a couple different like power systems in your body, right? So the short-term burst is the anaerobic system. That's going to be what allows you for like power output, like quick, like 1 rep maxes, kind of like power output. Once you start hitting like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're now entering into your aerobic capacity. So I wonder what it is about triggering your anaerobic capacity to a certain point to where it's like, okay, I'm done. You know, like, and I wonder since you do, I don't know, like, I wonder since you do your stairs or whatever, for 30, how long? 30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah.
30 minutes at a relatively quick speed. What speed do you do?
Well, it's hard to say because all the stairs are different. But the one that I use, like the highest level is 20. So I started at 10, and then 5 minutes in, I'll bump it up to 12. And then after about 15 minutes there, I'll bump it up to 14 for like the last 10 minutes or whatever, 5-10 minutes. So it's pretty quick, but it's not like I'm sprinting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, when I do it, like pretty much, I know each one's different, but like I'm typically at like 1 or 2, and it's like just super intensity. It's
really, really hard. I'm doing like 1 step per minute. It's really, really difficult.
It's hard, but I spend about 5 minutes there, and then I'm done.
The stairs they're a different beast because I get people that message me all the time because I used to do them a lot. I still do them relatively frequently, but when I was only doing bodybuilding, I did them every day, right? So, 6 days a week I would post about doing the stairs and post about how long I was doing them. And when I ended up competing, I ended up doing them for like 50 minutes was the longest, I think, the session that I've done. I've done it for an hour, but I was doing them consistently 50 minutes like 4 to 5 times a week, right? And that was for a very specific goal. I don't ever want to compete again. But it was one of those things that I just had to kind of work my way up into. So the reason I even started doing the stairs was literally because when I went to the gym when I was heavier, this was like when I first started going to the gym, I would only do cardio. And I would do, like 15 minutes on the bike, 15 minutes on the elliptical, and 15 minutes on the treadmill, just like walking, right? But then when I would see people on the stairs sweating a ton. And so in my mind, when I first started working out, to me, it was like sweat meant you were working harder.
Yeah.
Which now I know it's, everyone just sweats a different amount. Like I'm sweating right now. You know what I mean? And I'm not working very hard.
Yeah.
I just sweat. But in my head, I would see people sweating a lot, but then also I would see their faces. Like you could tell they were working hard. So I would always think to myself, wow, that looks intense. But I was way too afraid to get on it at first. But then the first time I finally stepped on it, I think I was able to do 3 minutes. And then I got off. And then I kind of just started setting little goals of like, okay, I did 3 minutes this time. Next time I go, I want to be able to do 4 minutes. Obviously, you can't do that forever because eventually you're doing infinity minutes. But
Yeah.
for me, it was like I was setting small goals, and eventually, once I was able to do 15 minutes, I just stayed there for a while, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll be able to do 20. So it was like it's not like I went from never using the stairs to doing 30 minutes right away. It was a slow like build, to the process of being able to do 30 minutes to an hour, and now I'm not somebody that's one of those. There's some people that if you do the stairs, you're not allowed to hold on to the sides. Now, if I didn't hold on to the sides, I don't think I'd be able to do that long. But for me, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to like get bigger legs or anything like that. It's mainly for cardio. So I just want to be moving for that amount of time, And so for me, I found that a higher speed, but still holding on to the rails, I still get a lot of calories burned and a lot. So that's the reason I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of my heart's beating really fast. I'm doing it for more of the heart health than I am for building leg muscles or whatever you want, So I am not against holding on to the rails because if I didn't, I feel like I'd slip too. So I don't want to do that.
When are you going to get to the point where you're doing handstand walking up
I've thought
the
about
stairs?
it. I've thought about it.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, just
As a joke?
as a funny video. But I mean, not for a long time. I'm confident in my handstand walking in a flat surface, and that's about it.
Have you ever made it up the ramp,
it's stupid
the
ramp
regionals
thing.
ramp thing?
I tried it for a long time when we were at RX Smart Gear, their gym. They have one. I tried it for like 45 minutes straight. Couldn't get up it. The farthest I got up was the slanted side. I got to the top, and then I fell off. So, yeah, like I said, I'm confident in walking straight, not up. Like, I can like go and like around things maybe, but not up and down and stuff like that. So, but it'd be fun. It'd be fun to be able to do that. But I'm not trying to end up on a gym fails video.
Yeah.
Falling off.
Well,
Like,
that would hurt too. Like
that would hurt really
head
bad.
landing on the
Ooh.
stair.
Yeah, that would. I mean, if somebody did it and fell, I would laugh at them because they 100% deserve that.
Yeah.
I hope they wouldn't be injured, but I'd be like, yeah, you kind of deserve to fall there. So I don't really feel too bad about that.
I feel like it's a natural reaction to laugh at someone when they fall.
Yeah.
Even if they're injured.
Yeah,
You
well-
kind of laugh and then
Then you were like, oh, are you injured?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then, but
I
then
mean, if it's like you just witness a death, like maybe don't laugh.
Yeah.
But
maybe don't laugh.
maybe don't do that.
Wow, that guy doesn't have a head anymore. Wait. John said not to laugh at this.
Is he okay?
He doesn't. He's
not?
decapitated. So dead then?
So laugh when everyone leaves.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not good to do that.
Okay, I wanted to bring up something. So this is a pretty big deal for me. And I've been talking about a lot on like Instagram, and I just recently put out a YouTube video. But I have officially signed up for my first marathon. June 2nd, if you are in San Diego and you want to come, please do so. It's called the Rock and Roll Marathon or something like that in San Diego. It's the only one. It's the only marathon in San Diego on June 2nd, okay? And yeah, I'm excited. So that means I have about 7 weeks to prep for this, which obviously is not ideal. But I mean, realistically, I've been training. This isn't any better, but I've been training for about a week and a half before I finally decided, or about a week before I like signed up. But now I am like full blown in marathon training, and it's like a completely different animal than I was expecting. And it's funny, like when you get into like new things, just all the stuff you realize you need. I'll get into that.
Need in quotations?
No, like for real need in marathon training, because one, I'm obviously doing this not the smartest way. Because so most of the time, a short prep is about 16 weeks. So that's 4 months. So I'm already cutting a pretty short one in half. A lot of people will train half a year to 5 months. It's pretty normal. And then my idiot self was like, I want to run a marathon. And then literally what I did was Googled marathons in San Diego. And then this one popped up, and then the next one was like forever away. And I was like, well, I don't want to be training for that long for it, So then, I signed up for that one. But so the reason that I need, like, there's certain things that I do need. Like, so for me, I overpronate. So that means like my arch kind of collapses and my knee will go in a little bit. My ankle mainly will go in. So like for me, one of the things that I needed to get was stability shoes, which is basically like, it's like a shoe that has like more padding, kind of basically like under your arch, so you're not overpronating, right?
Is that a shoe or is that an insole?
That's a shoe.
So does that shoe is it still good for running?
Yeah. Yeah, it's called stability shoes. So there's like neutral shoes and then there's stability shoes. So if you're somebody that overpronates, I mean, my biggest recommendation would be to go to a running store and they can fit you and they will find out what shoe is best for you. That's what I did, right? But yeah, so it's been really, really interesting. I'll get into the gear in a second, but like with the training and stuff like that. So for me, like before I decided I was going to do a marathon, I was like, I just want to run more because that's been like a goal of mine. It's kind of similar to like I want to read more. I've always said I want to run more, and I would do it for a little bit and then fall off, right? I would like run a couple miles, and then for a few weeks I would run like maybe a 5K, and then I would stop running. So this time I went and I got shoes and stuff like that. And then I started kind of like running. And then, so the longest I had ran before this like marathon training prep was a 5K. So 3.1 miles. And then one day, this was before I signed up for the marathon, I decided, okay, I'm going to run a 10K to see what that's like. So that's 6.2 miles, if I'm correct. And that was pretty hard, but I felt pretty good after I did that. And then I decided to do 8 miles, and that was pretty tough. Because I noticed that the place that I went to run a lot back then, like a week ago, but before I knew any of this stuff, it's actually at a pretty big slant. So if you run like longer runs, and for me, 8 miles, it was longer, you can develop blisters, which is what happened to me. So, but then after I ran that 8-mile run was when I was like, I'm going to do this marathon, because it's been like one of those things that I've talked about forever and like wanted to do. And then like for me, running has always been this kind of like big deal. I think because in middle school and in high school, we always would have like the mile. You know what I mean? Like that's what we called it, the mile.
Yeah.
Today is the day that we run the mile. And so it would be like, not even once a week. It was like once a month maybe that you would run the mile. And basically it was always a timed thing that was like the big bulk of the class, right, was running the mile. And there was like, I guess you could call it a 20-minute time cap, right? But it was like, you need to be finished in 20 minutes or like they would either take you off, or it was like pretty much everyone knew like you need to finish before 20 minutes. Yeah. Like the coaches would say that. And I would always not be able to do that. I think the fastest time I ever got was like 19 something. And I'm almost positive the coach that week like forgot to start the timer right away because everyone got like a crazy PR that day. So for me, like running and like miles, like running miles has always been, when I was younger, I just didn't even understand how people could run that long. Yeah. Like genuinely did not get it. It blew my mind because a mile to me was like there was no, because one of the things that people don't understand is like if you're someone that's been slim your whole life, you've been able to run your whole life, you've been able to move like that, it's hard to explain and understand how just a slight jog to someone that's really, really overweight or just really, really out of shape, that is a sprint. You know, like that basically feels the same. Your heart is beating the same way. So I didn't in my head, I'm like, how do people feel the way I feel when I'm jogging slowly? How do they do that for 26.2 miles? Yeah. It didn't make sense to me. But now I know that that's not how you feel when you're running a marathon. You're not redlining the whole time. Yeah. Or you shouldn't be. But so it's been like this thing that I've carried with me forever. And it's been like this, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's been a want of mine. But it's not like it's been like this thing I've been chasing the whole time. It's just been in the back of my head, I guess is the best way to explain it, right? So
like a bucket list.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, like a bucket. There you go.
Nothing. It's not something that's always there, but whenever it comes up, you're like, oh, yeah.
What's something you want to do before you die? Yeah. Marathon would have probably came up. Yeah, so that's always been something that's been on my mind. And like I do, Q&As quite frequently. And that's a question that people would ask me all the time. Was like, would you ever run a marathon? People ask me stuff all the time. Like, would you ever do jiu-jitsu? Would you ever do, you know what I mean? Like all those things. Yeah. But marathon, I would always answer, yes, eventually I want to do one. And then people would be like, didn't do it. And I'd just be like, no, I'm scared. Because genuinely, I am scared. I still am scared. Yeah. But I was a lot more scared then. And then I just kind of started thinking about it, and obviously I think a big part of this is like reading the David Goggins book, Can't Hurt Me. Like he ran 100 miles without training at all. So like in my head, I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? Not comparing myself to David Goggins, but like, so I think that I read that book a few months ago.
But that's almost the whole point of his book is like, I'm just this regular dude and I did all this stuff. Like,
well, what's crazy, he even found out after all this stuff, like this is like, you find this out later in the book, he ended up he had like a hole in his heart too when he was doing all that stuff. That made it like it's crazy. I highly recommend that book to people.
It's so hard for me to believe his story. Like
me too.
Like, I feel bad because I almost feel like this guy's fooling everyone.
Yeah,
you know. Like,
I think that same thing. But the way the reason that I do believe it is because he was in the military, and so if he's sitting there lying, there's tons of people that can be like, no,
yeah.
like I was there with him, or I never saw that guy. Who is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I because there was that. What was that? There was that one book, 1,000 Little Pieces or something like that.
I don't know.
There was like a book that was super popular. He was like on Oprah, I guess, and he got on their book club, which when Oprah was big, that was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And his story was all about how he was abused as a kid, and it came out that it was a complete lie.
That's crazy.
And so like I think of the same thing. I'm like I was reading the book, and I was just like David Goggins book, and I was just thinking to myself like there's no way this is true. Like I can't. But then when I watch him talk and like watch the podcast he's been on, I'm like it's just like if this is what you turn into after going through all that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The way that he is.
I think that like the reason why I asked all these things you need in quotations is because I think about him, and he's probably run a marathon barefoot.
Yeah,
I don't know,
well,
but I'm sure
whatever.
he has. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, but that's probably not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
But it's still like where my mind, like, well, this person did this. Why? The
way I think is like I'm not trying to injure myself. Like I want to be as smart as I can, because the way I've explained it is like I'm already starting with a pretty big handicap, right? Mm-hmm. I'm only training for half, maybe 1/3 as long as other people are. Mm-hmm. So I want to be as smart in that amount of time as possible and learn as much in that amount of time as possible, which is where I'm in now, right?
Uh-huh.
So
I have a couple questions.
Okay, go for it.
First thing, I do want to know what your training is going to look like, but we can get into that. That's boring stuff. So it's basically short runs and then a long one. Pretty much.
Well, so I mean, I'll just explain it.
For 7 weeks, what is your training going to look like?
Yeah, so it's the way that it's broken up is you have like I'm going to be running 5 times a week, and there's 4 of those are during the week, Monday through Friday, and they're broken up in anywhere from 3 to like I think the longest during that is like 8. But most of them are like 3 to 6, 6 mile runs. And then I have a long run on the weekends, on Saturdays, which is anywhere from 12 to 20 miles. 20 miles is towards the end, and then I'll end up tapering down, I guess, which is what you're supposed to do. So that's what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to continue doing CrossFit. So I'm completely cutting out bodybuilding this prep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you afraid about that?
I was at first, but now I'm just like whatever, because like I like bodybuilding, I enjoy it. Are you
putting your membership on pause?
No. Yeah, I probably should, but it's only like $10 a month, so I'm not too worried about it. But I remember that's been a big reason. Like we've talked about it, right? Like why I haven't completely done this, because I've always been like, okay, if I'm going to train for a marathon or if I'm going to run more, I have to just fit it in with what I'm already doing.
And you were doing that for the first week.
I was trying.
I was like, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it was stupid. Like one day I ended up doing a CrossFit workout, and then after that I like ate a little bit, and then I ran 8 miles. This is when I jacked up my toe. I ran 8 miles, and then I went home and showered and ate, and then I did a bodybuilding workout with stairs afterwards.
Didn't that CrossFit workout have running in it? Wasn't that the 400 meter?
It had running in it, and my traps were freaking wrecked from it, because whenever I do hang power cleans, I just get super sore. So after that day, I was like, this isn't sustainable. Yeah. Like I could do it for one day maybe, but then that was before I had decided I'm actually going to do a marathon.
Yeah,
I was just
trying
to
running
run
more.
Yeah, I just wanted to run more. But yeah, so I was nervous at first, but then I thought about it. I was like, one, it's only 2 months, and if I truly fall in love with running, okay, I won't be as buff as I am now. Uh-huh. I don't really care that much. Like I just don't really care that much about how as long as I'm healthy, I'll always look healthy. So that's all that matters to me.
Okay, I have another question. You posted a YouTube video about it recently.
Yep.
The amount of people who are saying that you're going to get injured doing it, does that worry you?
Yeah, it worries me.
So for everyone who hasn't watched the video, he posted a video basically calling himself an idiot.
Yep.
And then
in the thumbnail.
Yeah. And then the comments, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, you can do this.
Yeah, most people are supportive.
And I'm like, yeah, you can do this. Like I believe that you can do it, and I really believe that there's a lot of
contamination.
Cross pollination with CrossFit and stuff.
Crossover.
But there are a good amount of people who are giving like real life stories about, hey, I did this and I got injured, so don't do that. Hey, you're an idiot. Hey, you know what I mean? Like from legitimate concern to like the spectrum of they're angry at you.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets angry at you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So how do you feel with those comments? Are you like, do you understand where they're coming from? Like what's going on there?
I understand where people are coming from 100%. Like I said in the video, I know that this is not long enough to prep for a marathon. I get that. I understand that.
But do you believe that? Or do you believe that you've been training and so that is long enough for you?
Yeah, I think it just depends on what your goal is. If your goal, for me, I'm
not asking you to give advice to anyone.
Yeah.
For you, do you believe 7-8 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Okay.
I think it's enough for my goal, which is to finish and not be finish broken in 7 hours, but not be completely wrecked. Because I ran 12 miles recently, which is the longest I've ever ran, which I understand that you can't really compare. It's half the distance because that other half is like you're dying the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So like I get that.
But you kind of ended feeling good.
I ended feeling pretty good. The only thing was like my right calf was a little tight. That was literally it. I didn't have any blisters. I wasn't dying, and I hadn't bought anything like water. I didn't drink water the whole time or eat anything, right?
Yeah.
So again, that was a learning experience.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool doing this, just jumping in a complete beginner, and like that's the funnest thing or the most fun thing.
Yeah.
But to go back to your point, I do 100% understand where people are coming from, and I appreciate them. But at the same time, like this is a challenge, and so it's not. I'm not doing it because it's easy, or I'm not doing it because it's the smartest thing. Like, I mean, there's videos of people that are doing marathons with zero training, And so at least I'm like, in my head, I'm like, at least I'm giving it a shot, trying to train as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I do think I have a pretty good base. Again, I understand it's different, but I really do think that it's going to be a hard challenge. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to be hurt afterwards. You know what I mean? Like in pain. I mean, it's going to not be fun, but at the same time, it's going to be worth, like, I think the risk is worth the reward for me. If it was somebody that's like, I sit on a couch all day and work at a 9 to 5, I'm going to do a marathon in 8 weeks. Then I'm like, nah, probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
But again, who knows? Like there's people that I was watching a video yesterday of someone that basically that's what they were. And then they ran a marathon. They didn't even train at all. And it was hard, but they survived. So for me, my goal is to finish. It's not like I'm going in there being like, I want to finish in 3 hours and 30 minutes, or I want to qualify for Boston, which is like a big race. It's like the biggest marathon.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Like that's not my goal. So I'm just trying to have a good time and enjoy the experience.
Would you be interested in doing another marathon?
I can't answer that right now. I can see if like I really was when I was doing it, if I was like, man, I know that I could crush this time. And I was like, this was actually kind of fun. Then maybe, because it is a big time commitment. Yeah. It's like,
it's not just the day, it's all the training.
Yeah, it's the training. So if you think about it, the training on a short day, my shortest day is 3 miles. So that's only about 30 minutes for me, right? So most of the time it's longer than that. But for me, I don't, Jean makes fun of me, but I don't like running on the street. Like I don't like it. It stresses me out. I feel like I'm gonna get hit by a car. So I drive somewhere that's a good running spot, right? Luckily we're in San Diego, so it's like by the beach or like there's lakes and stuff. So that's, I have to drive there, get ready, stretch. So, I mean, it takes, minimum is an hour, right?
Yeah.
Minimum. And then if I'm doing a longer run, which, anywhere from, any of the longer runs can take me from an hour to legitimately 3.5 hours, Like, I just ran that 12 miles. It took me 2 hours and 17 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And so it's a big time commitment. So, again, if I were to do it again, I would have to cut something out. And for me, it's always going to be bodybuilding. It's just because I enjoy CrossFit too much. I enjoy the community too much to give that up. So it's hard to answer right now.
Okay, I have another question.
What's up?
You said that you're going to...
This is the interview of John Glaude on the Work for Change podcast.
You said you're going to lose your gains.
I mean, I said...
So CrossFit's not making you lose your gains?
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Like, I can see myself maybe losing weight.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, like...
Do you want to have a runner's physique?
No. No hate to runners, but like I like the way my body looks. Uh-huh. But at the same time, like I understand that I'm going to be burning a lot more calories, but at the same time, I know that I can eat pretty good. Like I'm not worried about that too much. So it was like it's the same argument that I got when when I started CrossFit, right? Everyone's like, you're going to lose your gains. You're going to lose your gains. And it never made sense to me because I'm like, well, if I'm eating enough and because for me, it's like I still was doing the bodybuilding anyways. So it's like, how am I going to lose my gains? Now, I guess it makes a little bit more sense because I'm not doing the bodybuilding anymore. But for me, it's like, it's worth the, I guess you could say, risk, even though for me, it's like the amount that I would lose in 2 months, like I could get that back relatively quickly.
Oh yeah, you can.
And I'm not even worried about, like, I really don't think I'd be losing that much muscle. Because again, I'm going to be eating, I'm still going to be doing CrossFit, which you only do CrossFit and you have a good amount of muscle, you know, and there's people at our gym that only do CrossFit.
Yeah,
I've
definitely gained a lot more muscle in doing CrossFit than I have doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Which I bet if I stuck to,
that's what I was gonna say. You've been doing CrossFit a lot longer.
Yeah,
but yeah, I guess it's almost, it's not a worry. It's something that I know can happen, but again, it doesn't worry me. I'm actually kind of excited to see what happens. Like, I really am excited to see what my body does. Because for me, it's like, I could see maybe being terrified of losing your gains if, like, they were super important to you or, like, they were your identity. But for me, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, what my body, like, it really isn't. What my body looks like is not my identity. It's more what it can do. And, I mean, not even my body, but, like, it's what I do, what I put out there to the world and stuff. So, like, yeah, it's fun having muscles, but, like, that's not who I am, you know, and nobody's like, man, John is like the buffest guy ever. They're just like, yeah, he looks pretty good.
Well, and luckily, like, you don't, like, so your YouTube platform isn't dependent upon how you look, luckily. I mean,
kind of.
Yeah,
if I gained 100 pounds, then yeah.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
But it's not like, oh, his delt isn't round enough. I can't listen to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not like,
hopefully it's not like that.
You're not Guma.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, that's the plus and minus of people in the body. Yeah, in the bodybuilding world is that they, in order to have credibility, they have to look incredible.
And a lot of times it's genetics, and they don't even have that much knowledge. It's crazy, man.
Powerlifters, they don't necessarily need to look incredible, but they have a big number.
Or you could be, but the thing is, at the same like that. That's like the outside appearance. Is like, you think to be a good powerlifting coach, you have to have huge numbers, but that's not true.
No, not to be a coach. I'm just talking about like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be credited, like in the YouTube community or whatever. Yeah, as a coach, you don't need to because it's mechanics. Yeah, it literally is like understanding hinging.
Yeah, and so like that's one of the things that I've always I understand. So with like the weight loss community, I kind of want to bring it to the weight loss community. There's people that have lost weight that have gained some of it back, right? And then once that happens, the people that follow them start just not trust any of their, you know, the information they're giving.
The community
out there.
turns against them.
Yeah. And so I've always, I 100% understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, if you look at basketball, like a lot of times the coaches are not basketball players or football. You know, a lot of times the coaches are like really large and not healthy at all. But that doesn't change what they know inside their head and what they can see, the field vision, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with like weight. It's the same thing with literally anything. Knowledge, people can have knowledge and they're not applying it. And like, is that bad? Yeah, probably. You probably should be applying your knowledge. But if you're, you know, like it's sometimes people have the knowledge and you just would be surprised, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Are
you excited to thin out? If you thin out? Do you want to thin out for this?
I mean, it would. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's not even thinning out. It's just I'm just excited to see what happens in my body. It's like, obviously, do I think that I'll probably lose some weight? Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know
Are you weighing yourself?
Not really. Not any more than I normally do. But I think I might start just to see. Just because I just
another,
like
another data point.
It's just like data, yeah. I just like that stuff. And like to us talking about this, right, and this kind of conversation, this would have never happened a few years ago. Like, because like for me, my identity was my body and like how well I could, like how good I looked and stuff. And I even used to say for a long time, like, I used to say like my goal is to have the craziest transformation ever. So it was like to go from obese to like literally being like, oh my gosh, that guy looks like insane, like crazy, like the amount of muscle he has, all that stuff, right? And now it's just I want to be as healthy as possible, and I honestly like I want to be able to show people like what you're capable of, and because this really is me stepping out of my comfort zone. Like luckily, I feel very lucky that I did CrossFit because I really do feel like that prepared me pretty well for this, but at the same time, it is so different.
I want to do that. So how has CrossFit helped you? And then how is it different?
So, like, mentally, it's helped me with just realizing that I'm capable of doing more. So, like, we've told the story, right? When I first started CrossFit, I was afraid to do a box jump. And then I ended up doing, like, 50 that day, right? I was afraid to do... I never thought I would be able to do a muscle up. And I've been able to do those. You know, I never thought I would be able to hands... All that stuff, right? So, it realized that my mind was cutting me off short, basically. And then just on... like, literally... running. Like, I run a lot more. Before I started CrossFit, I never ran.
Yeah, I remember the first time that I did a mile. I think, were you there? No, maybe you weren't there yet.
It was right before I started coming.
At RSD, the workout was whatever. Or, sorry, at my first CrossFit gym, before Dark Side, the workout was mile run, other stuff. And I couldn't even imagine getting past the mile run. And I was a little overweight, nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. But it was just, I hadn't run a mile since high school. It's not even high school, because in high school we had the opportunity to do weight training instead of PE. And so I did weight training forever. Mm-hmm. So I probably didn't do a mile since like 8th grade. And so like running a mile, like it was like mile and then other stuff. And I literally was like Googling how to run a mile. Like, what do I need to be aware of? What do I need to, because I was like terrified.
Because mile seems like the longest distance ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to.
Well, because it was. Like, for a long time, that was the longest I had ever ran. Not even ran when I was in junior high. I walked most of it.
Like, recently, I think the furthest I've ever run was... It was also within, like, the past 2 weeks. Because we equally were like, we want to run on our own. And then I was like, you suck. Because I wanted it to be my thing. And then you started running. And then I'm going to do a freaking 6K in April. And then you go, or in May. And then you're like, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm like, oh, great. Like...
I'll do the 6K with you, though. That'd be fun.
It's for a good cause.
All right, cool. I'm down.
It's raising water for... the reason why it's 6K is because the average person in Africa or in a third world country has to travel 6 kilometers to and from their village to get water every single day.
12? They have
walk.
Geez.
Yeah, and it's the load back is with water.
Wow.
And so it's a 6K because that's the average amount. And then everyone who signs up, it's like $50 to sign up. But it's going, and it's like basically it's saying every step you take is one they don't have to. And so it's raising money for the cause. It's called the 6K for water. That's what it is. But it's put on by World Vision. So it's the World Vision 6K. And so basically, I was really excited about it, and I'm still excited about it. I don't care. Do your thing. You know what I mean? I'm not
2019 Global 6K for water.
Yep, Global 6K.
So if you guys want to do it, it looks like they're going to be all over the place.
There's no track. You do your 6K wherever you want. You can walk it. You can run it. You can find if there's a community in your city that is doing it. You can do it with them, or you can just totally do it on your own.
That's cool.
It's literally just do your own thing. But
so it's basically you're donating and then being like, okay, now I'm gonna run 6K.
Yeah,
it's like, what?
You're pretty much putting yourself or walking, you're putting yourself just in their shoes for a day. Mm-hmm. Like when I was in high school, I did a sleep out. I think you do it too.
Yeah.
I was like,
bring that up.
It was with Invisible Children, and basically
rest in peace.
Hey, that guy he's still freaking killing it. Yeah. Like he had a break. Like imagine having a mental breakdown. For everyone in the world. Did you see the
video on YouTube? Was it on YouTube or?
I don't know. I just recently listened to an interview that he did.
I think that might have seen the same thing. Crazy, man.
But like he's crushing it, man. Mm-hmm. But like that thing was you slept outside, mm-hmm. like without a tent, without anything. You just slept outside because that's what these kids have to do. They're displaced from their home. They're traveling again a crazy amount of miles to sleep in these safe buildings because they're getting taken away and abducted into Coney's army, even if it's still him or whatever. Yeah. But like. I just think like it's so important to like do things for a cause. I think that's just really important. But anyway,
we kind of got off topic there.
I know. Well, I was just basically saying that I want to do 6K, and you decided to do 20. What is it? How many Ks is it?
I don't know. It's like
how many kilometers is a? Because it's 26 miles, right?
I think it's like 42. I'm gonna look it up. How many kilometers? No. Oh dang it! I put a mile. Marathon. Let's see. 20. No, that's half. So 42. Yep, that was right.
Oh, right.
42 kilometers.
How many miles is it?
It's 26.2. You've seen all the stickers on people's
back.
I know. I'm definitely gonna buy one.
Of course you are.
Let people know.
Remember when I had? Oh, you have it still. When I had the 2159.
Yeah, I still have that.
It's kind of like. It was like the punch in the face to the marathoners.
Yeah.
Okay, very last question that I have.
Okay.
Regarding, you were saying that CrossFit would make you lose your gains, and then you were like, well, I kept on doing bodybuilding, so that's probably why I didn't lose my gains. Mm-hmm. Did you kind of do it because you didn't want to prove them right?
I think that's part of it for sure. And like,
because I know that you say you like bodybuilding, and I believe it because it's just you. And running, you're not losing that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more just you. Right?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, especially on the long runs.
Yeah.
Oof.
So do you think that bodybuilding was kind of like I'm going to show everyone that they're wrong by still doing bodybuilding?
Yeah and no. So yes.
Again, I haven't lost gains, but also, I bet you if I was having a cleaner diet and stuff, I would have thinned out a lot more.
Yeah.
Now
I weren't eating pizza every weekend.
I had a whole pizza last night.
Good job, John.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
And also
shredding for the wedding, huh?
Chipotle just started a rewards program.
Oh no.
And I finally got my first free reward. So I've got that just waiting on my phone for me. But anyway, you think it was kind of like, shout out to all the haters, I'm still gonna have a physique?
I mean, maybe subconsciously, because for me, I remember, so the way that it's, when I first started CrossFit, I told myself, okay, I'll do CrossFit 2 times a week, and then I'll still do bodybuilding. And then it was like, okay, I'll do CrossFit 3 times a week. And then it slowly turned into, I want to do CrossFit all the time.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I just didn't want to give up bodybuilding because I still really enjoyed it. And so I don't think it was in the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to prove people wrong. But maybe a little bit.
Can I ask you a controversial question?
Do it.
Does bodybuilding make you a healthier person?
I think it can. It's like with anything. If you take anything too far, it can be unhealthy.
But I just don't understand how bicep curls helps your heart health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of where that's where.
I mean, if you say bodybuilding, then maybe not. But hypertrophy training, yes, I think it can make you healthier, and not even just in heart wise, but joints and how your body moves. I think you can definitely do. There's definitely a lot of usefulness in using. I hate calling them that bodybuilding movements. You know what I mean? But isolated movements to help your body.
Isolated, isolated hypertrophy.
Yeah. To help your, if you have issues with your shoulder or whatever it might be, if it's face pulls or whatever. So, but I think that because for so long, we just always, I know that for me, and I know it was for you too, when you thought of, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym, it was just bodybuilding, back by tri.
Yeah.
Legs and chest.
I think that we think, when we look at Rambo or we look at, or Sylvester Stallone, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or we think of them as the
pinnacle. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just kind of well, this is what they did. So must be what healthy people do. Mm-hmm. And then the 80s, that was a revolution of I don't want to call them Globo Gym, but gym chains that were heavy equipment, less coaching, right? You know what I mean? That was kind of
lots of cardio machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, but I mean, in the same vein, I think doing anything is too much of anything is unhealthy. Because even marathons, it's not, I don't think that running a marathon doing marathons all the time is healthy.
Yeah.
Because it really does take a toll on your body. But at the same time, it's the same thing with CrossFit. I think it's, especially if you fall in love with something, any sort of sport, because marathons are technically a sport, right? CrossFit's a sport. Football's a sport. Duh. Bodybuilding is a sport.
Yeah.
Cheerleading
is a sport.
Yeah. No, it is though.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
I've made that joke before.
You're gonna have a cheerleader come in, roundhouse kick you in the face. Oh yeah.
Sam was a cheerleader.
So it's with anything, if you go too hard at anything, it can become unhealthy. And so I truly do think that, with the marathon training, obviously it's not I'm going to be sore more than normal. And my body's going to be taking more pain than normal and more toll. It's going to be taking a toll more than it normally would be. If I were to be I'm going to run 2 miles instead.
Just for the repetitive motion of it.
Exactly.
Because I think that you kind of, you beat your body up. I would say that more than just someone who's not doing anything and then they start, they're going to have more pains. But you're active every day. So I don't know how your body's kind of a well-oiled machine at this point.
I would say so too.
You know, so I would
and
say
not
maybe
even,
less.
It's weird hearing that, but like, yeah, I really do think that too.
Yeah.
And I think that I recover pretty fast.
Yeah.
I think that I can like my body can handle. Like I truly do
So
think, and that's just from the years and years. Like I've been bodybuilding for 5 years now.
Remember when you first started doing CrossFit and bodybuilding?
Mm-hmm.
A big comment you would get all the time. Go to the gym
Overtraining.
twice,
Yeah.
you're going to injure yourself.
Yeah.
And like you haven't.
No, I've never had a serious injury. Knock on wood, because I really feel like I've never had an injury and I'm going to get injured. But like, thank God, and luckily I haven't had a major thing. Obviously, everyone has little niggles and things that like hurt, but I haven't had anything unbelievably like, wow, I cannot work out for 3 weeks.
What's crazy is like even within like the CrossFit community, like 2-a-days are very normal.
It's
even
in the competitive,
in any sport,
even in marathon running. I've looked it up. There's people that like are really competitive. They run twice a day.
Yeah.
Like that to me, I'm like, what? But
yeah,
I work out twice a day, and people probably think, what?
Yeah. So it's very like what used to be so far out and weird, you know, like someone who was going to the gym twice a day, like regular bodybuilding, like it's kind of like, okay, you are.
Well, see, the thing with bodybuilding, and that's where
and
I
then
think
people even do that. Like,
yeah, well, but I think the comments were people thinking like CrossFit and bodybuilding are very similar, and you're going to burn the muscle out. But like CrossFit is mostly about your heart and like core to extremity movements. You're not doing a ton of like
single, like isolated movements.
And so they actually do complement each other well. Like I really do think most people, if you're relatively fit, you can mix both of them in 2 days and be okay.
Yeah.
Truly, I really do think that. But if you were to try and do bodybuilding twice a day, then yeah, I could see that being an issue, because those are, you just like, there's, unless you're like literally doing your bodybuilding movements and then you're just coming back later and doing cardio, which is pretty normal for people in prep because they're doing cardio for 2 hours a day, then yeah, I can see why you'd want to split that up, you know. But if you're trying to do like bodybuilding twice a day, then yeah, you would get injured. But for me, and like with anything, like they're different. And even now, like with CrossFit and like the marathon training, I do think that they're different. And I'm able to, again, I am very lucky that this is my job, right? So basically this training for a marathon right now is my job, kind of, if you want to think of it like that.
Well, I mean, you're making videos about it. So
creating content is my job.
Not kind of, I would say 100%.
It is my job. So I have, the reason I say this is because I have the free time to be able to recover. And you know what I mean? Like if you were somebody that was working 12-hour days, even 9-hour days, then it would be a lot more difficult because you'd have to wake up super early, do your CrossFit workout, and then run afterwards. And so like I get that, but I'm very lucky that I don't have to deal with that. So because I have the time, I want to use it and do something cool, you know? And so that's the marathon thing. But the one thing I have that's been like the most like difficult, I would say, is like the long run that I've done, 12 miles. Not even, and it's not even because it's like, oh, it's such a hard thing on my body, but it gets boring.
So 12 is almost half?
That's almost half, yeah.
Okay.
So
and
it's
then
a mile point.
So 20 miles is going to be the most you do?
Yeah.
What are your other long runs?
So it's like 12 and then 14, 13, and then it's like 16, 20, I think. Because then it tapers down because you want to be fresh for the race. Yeah. Again, I only have about 7 long runs, you know, because I'm not training for that long.
Okay, so you get bored.
Yeah,
when
it just gets boring. And the thing is like I listen to music because it helps me. And so like people are like, well, listen to podcasts, and hey, you can listen to this podcast, but like I haven't tried audiobooks, you know what I mean? I haven't tried that, but I really feel like I would just be like, because the music like pumps me up, you know? But at the same time, when I'm running the 2 hour, like
when you're on a long run, I feel like you don't need a pump up.
That's true. That's exactly what I was going to say, because I'm not running hard, and that's the point, right? Like my time when I'm running the long run, it's like 11:30 a mile. That is not fast for me. Like it's like the first few miles, the whole time I'm like, I want to run faster.
What's your mile PR right now? Like 7:30?
Yeah, it's almost almost in the 6s, but like like 7. I would say 7:30, because it was around here and it's a little short when we run the mile here. So I would say probably if I were to go sprint all out, and I didn't have to do a bunch of turns and stuff like that, you know what I mean? If I was able to run straight, I think it would be close to that. And so like when I run the 5Ks or like the training runs, I'm normally running like a 9-minute per mile pace, even a little bit faster than that. You know what I mean? So 11:30 or even sometimes even 12, like I can talk, and that's the point. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So you were talking about the anaerobic system, and it's funny when you're doing the marathon, it's all aerobic almost completely. So it's such a different source of like your body is using such a different source of like energy than it is when you're doing like CrossFit.
Because you don't really get there in CrossFit.
No, and not at all.
Like, you can't. It's an hour class.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, if you were just doing a class, then no. But like the only other time I've ever done a workout like that was when I rode the marathon.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, comparatively, it's so much easier.
To row?
I think at least. Because I don't know. I like rowing.
You did no warm up for that.
I did nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't do like a prep for it. It was just like, I just did it. And the day after I was fine.
Yeah.
And so it's just a different beast. But like, yeah, the aerobic system, it's so interesting because I've been like watching videos like crazy. That's like what I do, right? You know how I am. When I get into something, it's like that's all I care about for a while.
Yeah.
And I think right now I kind of have to be like that because of how short of a time I have.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been like, watching videos and they always say on your long runs, go slower than you think you should. And that's like one of the biggest things. Like you need, like if you can run with someone, do that because you should be talking to them. That's how easy you need to be running. And so like that goes back to how I, like when I was a kid, I would think that people are feeling like how I felt, so out of breath and dying when I was, running not even a mile, but that's not how you feel. Like when I'm running, doing the long runs, I'm like just kind of moving, Do
you feel like people are judging you that you're running so slow?
No, because most of the people are like out there because I'm usually doing the long runs at like places that people go to do longer runs. Okay. So most people aren't moving super fast. But even if they are, like I literally don't care.
When I did like my 4 mile run, which is probably my max, which sounds ridiculous, but I kept on thinking like, but I did it on a busy street, which is very different than you.
Yeah.
And I remember I kept thinking like, people are probably like, this guy's running slow. And honestly, they're probably not thinking about that at all.
No, they're not at all.
But it's still runs
think
through my
about it
head.
when you drive by someone that's running. Do you even think about it?
No.
You're just like, that person's running. That's all you think about. You're not like, how fast are they going? It doesn't matter.
One person honked and flipped me off. I mean, but
are you serious?
Yeah, but that's just people are weird.
Were they in a red Mustang?
No, they like it was weird. I was just like, okay.
Were you like in their way or something?
No, but I think I was shirtless. So I mean, I was shirtless. They're probably like tool.
I think I was shirtless.
They're probably like tool, and then like, oh, I just flipped off the camera. On YouTube, you just got a special gift there.
But yeah, so it's been going back to like the gear stuff.
Okay, yeah,
completely like we're making it full circle. So I noticed when I was on that last long run, there was like
Did you have gear yet?
No, I didn't. So I had ran that 12 miles without a drink of water, without like any sort of fuel source.
Were your shoes? You had the new shoes.
Yeah, I had the new shoes already. Okay. So because I went to. So this is actually a cool story. So I went to a local running store. I don't want to get the person in trouble. So I went to a local running store. I don't want to say the store. And I ran into an old friend of mine, and we're gonna call.
Let's call the local running store Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. Well, now people are gonna know. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we say the store. I don't think it matters. So I went to Roadrunner. Okay, so it's a really big running store. It's a very popular place.
You most likely have one in your city.
Yeah, it's really actually really cool, and they helped me get all situated with like running shoes and like with special insoles, and they do this whole thing where they pretty much you like put your foot, like you run on a treadmill and then they look at your foot and they're like, okay, so you're overpronating on this side, blah, blah, blah. And then they have you like step on, and then they actually, this was actually interesting. So they measure your feet, and I found out that I'm technically like 9.5. Should be wearing size 9.5. So I've always bought size 9s.
Okay.
I've always bought size 9s. And so the running shoes I got before, which wasn't very long, I actually felt really bad because Sharissa bought them for me because she was like, I was telling her I wanted to run more, and she basically was like, okay, I'll get you shoes, but you have to run 10 miles this week. I was like, game, right? Yeah. So I did it. But she bought me these shoes, and they were 9s because I've always thought it was 9s. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they told me, you should be wearing 9.5s, and they said especially for long distance running.
Did you like let them know everything? Like, I'm going on a marathon.
Yeah, I told them everything, right? And so that's the thing that's nice is like they're experts, they know what they're talking about. So they were like, well, even if you don't want to go a half size up, it says you're a size 9.5, so we think you should get a size 9.5 because when you're running long distance, your feet swell. And I've actually noticed because in all the runs that I've gotten the new shoes, they're the Brooks Adrenaline GTS 19 or something like that. They're like, the stability shoes. I have more room in them. I haven't had any issues with my feet hurting or like any blisters or anything like that. So I went there and I got the shoes from this friend that works at the store. And I ended up, so the first time I went, I got the shoes, and I think that's all I got, maybe some socks. And she ended up being like, hey, just say my name at the thing and then they'll give you a discount. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know anything. I had no idea what it was. I ended up getting home. It was 50% off. So she hooked me up, and it was like a friend that I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
Right. I knew this person back in like middle school.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to say the person's name because I don't want them to get in trouble. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening, you know who you are. Thank you very much. But then, so I went on that long run, and then on the long run, I was like, I need more stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I realized that I need something to carry water.
Uh-huh.
One, and put my phone in because I don't want my phone in my pocket, so I would always carry it. So
Yeah.
at 12 miles, I had my phone in my hand the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is pretty stupid. But I was like, I need to listen to music. I can't do this without listening to music, right?
What? And you have wireless headphones?
Yeah. So I have the Beats by Dre, which are actually pretty good. I've broken a few pairs of those from my sweat, but for some reason this pair they're doing fine. I've had them for a long time now. The Power Beats or whatever, Power Beats 2. But that's besides the point.
Sponsored
So
by.
I know, right?
Just kidding. There's not.
Also, you guys, new sponsor. And then I realized, so I needed like something to carry that stuff, and then I needed to practice. Because I'd been again reading up on stuff, and one of the biggest things that people recommend is if you're going on long runs, you need to practice eating while you're running, or like using the goos or something. But you need to practice like what you're planning on eating during the run, during the marathon. Because if you're gonna run a marathon, you don't want to leave anything up to chance. Like you need to be practicing exactly how you're gonna do it, right? Mm-hmm. So I went back in and I actually ended up getting some of the Metcon. I got the Metcon Sports when I went in the next time too because people wanted me to review them. But that's the point.
New video coming up on John Glaude's second channel.
So I went and I bought a Nathan's vest, it's like a backpack, has like a water camelback kind of thing, but it has like pockets on the strap, I guess you could call it, to put things in. So I got that. I got a ton of the food thingies. I was actually looking into like Body Glide, which is a thing that you like put on your so you don't chafe.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my friend again. She was there, and she said, you actually might not need anything because I always wear long compression boxers. But when I run, I usually wear like the ones that go down to my ankles, like the Nike Pro tights or whatever. And then I wear a compression shirt. So I don't have anything rubbing because my compression shirt, it's not rubbing again. Because one of the biggest things is people tape your nipples.
Yeah.
But my nipples don't ever get chafed because the shirt it's not moving, know? And then the same thing because people always in your inner thighs, put all the Body Glide stuff, but I haven't had any issues because my skin isn't ever rubbing against each other because the compression stuff makes that not happen. That's part of the reason I wear it, right?
Yeah. You want to know a super stupid vain thing about me?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't like wearing camelbacks because I don't want a weird tan. Because I'm going to want to go shirtless.
Yeah.
I'm a CrossFitter. Right?
Uh-huh.
Anytime I go on a hike and stuff and I think camelback, great. Weird tan now.
See, for me, I don't have that issue because I always wear a shirt.
Yeah, so. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I'm curious to see because I haven't used it on a long run. I'm curious to see how, because I put it on and I put water in it and everything and moved around and it felt very, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it moving. Yeah, it just felt like it just maybe a pound on my back, but not like it was jostling. So I got that stuff.
So it's a vest?
No, it's
not a backpack?
No, it's a backpack, but it's it has straps here, obviously like a backpack, and then there's pockets in the straps. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you could just because you don't want it. It's really tight.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be because if it's loose, again, it's gonna jostle.
Yeah.
So I went and I got that stuff, and also I noticed I needed new sunglasses because I was running on the long run, and you know how much I sweat.
Yeah.
Right. And I also got these little tablets, or it's almost, it's not Gatorade, but it's electrolyte kind of stuff with sodium. Because that's a big thing too, because of how much I sweat.
Yeah.
So I was on the long run and I was sweating so much that my sunglasses, they're not runner sunglasses. They kept sliding down my nose, and then they would close my nose, and I couldn't breathe. So literally every 10 steps, I would have to push them up, and I was getting so annoyed. So I ended up just taking them off. So I realized that. So it was interesting though.
I had to do that when I ran.
Yeah.
Because I have to wear prescription sunglasses, which is frustrating if I want to see. I don't really care if I see or not.
Maybe that's why he flipped off. Maybe he just ran in front of his car.
I had no clue. Yeah. Or maybe he was just waving.
Yeah.
But I'm
he flipped me off, I think. You should just get some tape and put it on the bridge, parts of the bridge on your nose so it sticks.
Because I have prescription sunglasses, but they're Warby Parker. They're not meant for running. So.
But yeah, so for me, doing that long run, one, it was really I was super. It hurt, and it hurt because it was just boring, and then your calves. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of hurt. It's not like it was burning. Mm-hmm. But you get to a point where you're just I'm done.
Yeah.
You have a mile left, and you're can I just be done now?
Yeah.
Because a mile normally would be 9 minutes because of the pace you're going at. It's going to take at least 11.
Yeah.
And you're just I'm just done,
Yeah.
you know? But I was really happy because, again, like I said,
I wonder how much of that was because you didn't have any water or anything
that's
to eat.
why I'm curious. I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like really excited to try it out because my next long run is 14 miles, and I'm probably gonna. We'll talk about where we're going this weekend, but I'll probably end up doing it actually on either Sunday or Monday, depending because we'll be somewhere, and I'm not trying to do a super long run with somewhere I'm not super comfortable with. I'm not there yet
Because you're old.
Yeah, literally because I'm
you're an
old.
old man.
But yeah, so it's just been really fun, like being a complete beginner and then like learning, you know, like doing that long run and being, oh yeah, I need more stuff. I'm not ready. But it's funny because you think running is like you don't need much stuff, and like if you're running a relatively short, anything under like an hour, because what they recommend is like pretty much every hour that you're running, you want to be consuming about 100 calories. Mm-hmm. So those goos are usually about 100 calories. So I'm excited to try it out and see how they work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then again, obviously you should be drinking water, and I didn't have any water. So I'm excited to see how it goes. And yeah, I remember like when I saw the first like long run, the 12 miles, I was like super nervous, but at the same time I was like, kind of excited to do it because that's almost a half marathon, and I was like, if I can do that with training for a week, like I really think that at the end of this I'll be able to. I'm aware that I need to stay healthy. Like that's my main goal, is to just like, so I've been doing like tons of stretching. I've been stretching more now than I think I ever have. Like and foam rolling and all that stuff, because like I've done it, but like it wasn't like in my head it was like essential.
Yeah.
Now it's like this is essential because I'm not trying to injure myself. So I'm like rolling my calves out, doing a ton of like stretches, using like a lacrosse ball on my feet and stuff, just trying to be as smart as possible.
Were you... Okay, so I have this like attitude in my mind, not an attitude, but I have this like presupposition or whatever that runners are very arrogant and they think that their thing is the best thing.
Really?
Do you ever feel that?
No. I never thought of that. I've
Really?
never felt that way.
I like feel like runners feel like long distance runners in particular are kind of like we are the real athletes, you know?
Really?
Like I saw a shirt in high school once where it was like, running is the only true sport, everything else is just training. You know what I mean? Or everything else is just a game. Huh. You know, like stuff like that where it's like, you arrogant.
I've never thought, because like for me, everyone always says running sucks.
Yeah.
So like I was like the opposite.
Which is why
like
the people who run are kind of like, yeah, I run.
Yeah. I've never thought of it like that.
I do the thing that no one else wants. Yep, that's me.
Which is true though. And it's crazy because if you run long distance, most of the people, their bodies are they're small people. Mm-hmm. They're very, you know what I mean? So it's like the amount, it's, because you might not have that much physical like strength, like as far as like bench press and, you know, snatching or something, you know?
Let's squat, bro.
But the amount of mental strength like long distance runners must have, like, because it's one thing to complete a marathon, it has to be a completely different thing in running a marathon,
like competing,
like legit getting under 3 hours kind of thing. Like I can't even imagine, like the fact, like there are people that can run. I mean, there's people that literally can run a marathon as fast as I ran that 12 miles. Because it took me 2 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah. And you know, the fastest marathon, I mean, it was like almost 2 hours. But I mean, it was like perfect conditions. But I think there's people that have gotten like 2:15 or something like that, in like a real marathon. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's that I can't even imagine what that has to feel like. Because like for me, I'm like just kind of moving. They're like running.
Oh, so you're like me in every single CrossFit workout.
Yeah.
just kind of moving.
I saw
just kind of doing it.
I saw this video of they had this treadmill. It was like a huge treadmill, and it was going the speed that that guy Eliud Kipchoge or whatever, the guy that almost broke 2 hours, his speed that he was running in the marathon, and people couldn't even run it for 400 meters or even 200 meters. That's crazy that people are running that fast for 26.2. For 2 hours straight, he was running that fast.
Yeah.
I probably can't even run that fast if I sprinted.
Yeah, that's insane. And like it was like this huge world. Nike put it on. It was this huge world event where he was going to break the world record.
Breaking 2 is
Breaking 2. Yeah. And like they had a pace car with like a light that you can see where that mark was, and like he was like doing it, and at the very around the end was when it started like. Yeah, and like, if you're running that fast, like you're not gonna be able to like pick that up. It's not like he can just like have a last second like push. Yeah. Like
he ended in like 2 hours and like 20 seconds. Like, it was so close. Yeah. And I mean, it was like it doesn't actually technically count as a real marathon time because it was on like this flat ground. It was on this like racetrack that's like literally perfectly flat. It's like meant for cars to go like hundreds of miles on, right? So it was perfectly flat. He literally had like people in front of him that were breaking the wind like in a V formation, kind of like ducks do or whatever.
And they started like falling apart.
Yeah,
and they like that was another thing is like his pacers started
because there was
apart.
like 4 people and they're all from like Ethiopia, like those kinds of countries. There was like 4 runners that they were trying to do it with, and during the training it was very obvious that there was only one person that like actually had a chance. And it was that guy. I hate that I forgot his name, but that stuff, man, like it might be kind of boring to watch because it's someone running you're not changing anything for 2 hours, which I get, but it is unbelievable when you actually think of the feat that. So I think like that's part of it too. Is like all of that stuff. You know, growing up, you always hear about marathon runners. You know what I mean? And so it's always been kind of in me. And I think for most people, it's like if you ask them, would you ever want to run a marathon? Most people are like no, but like I think in the back of your head, especially when you're a kid, you're like that's like you think of that as this huge event, like this huge milestone. At least for me, I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else, but yeah, that's my thing. And then now obviously you get into like. Seeing people do, like the ultra marathons, and I'm like just like people running for literally like 5 days straight, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's so much fun because like you know how I am, man. I just get lost in things. Yeah. So when I get very excited about something.
But you're enjoying this running.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, especially like today I'm running 5 miles, and like I remember before 5 miles would have been like, oh my gosh, that's a long time. Now I'm like, 5 miles. Yeah. You know, and like I get it. I just started. So like, but it's already like, I'm already getting to a point where I'm thinking of 5 miles is not that crazy. And that's like kind of the point of doing the long runs is that it helps you think of that, like think of it like that, you know, and it helps that mental toughness. And I mean, it is mentally tough. Like it's hard to run 2 hours straight just by yourself. You know, it's not easy. So it was, but the sense of accomplishment, this is what everybody says, right? When they finish the marathon, the sense of accomplishment, I can only imagine like how it's going to feel. I'm excited. I asked Jean to film for me and like edit the video to make it like actually really cool because he is much better at editing than I am, and he said he's down. So hopefully the video that comes out. But yeah, and then I wanted to do. It's fun having the series now too on the channel because so I'm gonna put out like try and do 1 video a week. Who knows if it gets really boring, maybe I'll do less. But it's fun having like a series to track it.
Is your next video going to be responding to the haters?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'll bring it up. I'm sure because again, it's like. Most of them aren't people that are just trying to be mean. They're like genuine, like, yo, I'm concerned about you, and so maybe I might bring that up a little bit, but no, I'm gonna try and show everything. Like I think I might have a video where it's like all about how much I'm eating, which I'll wait a little bit for that. So I actually like this will be my first full week of actually training. Yeah. And then like
talk
about
your gear,
about my gear, about like how I'm rolling, and like you know what I mean, the recovery that I'm taking, and
are you looking at intervals yet, or is that too over your head?
No, I don't think I'm gonna do that stuff.
Yeah. I don't understand any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are a couple runners at Darkside.
Yeah.
And anytime it's a running workout, they have their watches and they have their times and they have their intervals that they're trying to hit and they have all that stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna try to move and make it back so I can do the real thing, like the power clean. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna move and do that. I'll pass you on the power clean.
Sure you will.
CrossFit mindset.
Sure you will, John.
Okay, so. We have spent a good amount of time talking about this marathon. Yeah. Like I am surprised we spent so much time talking about it. But this next podcast, you got to listen to it. It's going to be really exciting because we're going to have our friend Big Mike on. And if you follow our Instagram or you follow his Instagram, like he is literally one of the funniest guys in the world. So
he's very weird too, though. So just understand that he's very weird and his humor is like weird.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean he's actually weird, but that's his jokes. It's like if you didn't know he was joking, you'd be like, this guy's really weird because he calls me his son, and it like he makes it seem like if you didn't know who he was, you'd be like, wait, is that really his dad?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so proud of you, son.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and we know he's listening. So maybe take that back. Just kidding.
No, he's weird. Yeah. I don't take that back at all.
In the nicest way possible. Yeah. But we're going to have him on. This is the first that he found out about it. Yeah. So, hey, Mike, we're having you on next week.
Yeah, so we're going to Utah.
We're going to Utah. Yep. So when this comes out on Tuesday, we will still be in San Diego. Yeah. But the next day,
we'll be getting ready to go to Utah.
The next day, we'll be going up to Utah. We're going to something called FitCon, where we're actually going to be competing. Me and my brother and Mike.
Yep. We're going to be doing a scaled competition.
Heck yeah. Just for fun.
Yep.
Like there's no pressure on this one. It's just having a good time, throwing it down with the boys.
The boys.
Du Bois, Iowa, Illinois, I mean, wherever that is. But if you're in the Salt Lake City area or if you're going to FitCon, make sure you say hi to us.
Yeah.
But we're going up Wednesday night, Thursday pretty much. And we'll be there till Saturday night, Sunday morning. And it's going to be just a good old time. There's going to be a lot of people like apparently like Josh Bridges, Brooke Ince, Matt Frazier, amongst others are going to be there. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, I'm sure they were just like, yeah, that sounds like a fun thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Honestly, I have. This is the first time they've ever put this on, and they put it on in a couple weeks. Like, this is like they put on an event in the same amount of time that you started marathon training, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I'll be very interested to see
how it goes.
But we're gonna be there over my birthday, so it's gonna be fun.
How old are you turning? 29.
29. Nice. I keep telling people that I am 29, and so then I forgot. I literally forgot how old I was. And so I was telling people I'm 29, and then...
What, Sam was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, literally.
Really?
Yeah. Someone was like, how old are you? I'm like, oh, I'm 29 years old. And then, like, Sam was right there, and she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because that would have meant that my birthday, I would have been turning 30.
Yeah.
And I'm not there yet.
I'm not ready for that.
No, next year I'm turning 30, and it's going to be on Easter.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be just a good old time. So if you guys, again, like I said, if you're in the Salt Lake City area, we're going to be there. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
Just a super fun trip. If you guys are in the Salt Lake City area, be sure to come say hi to us. Like, it'll be super fun.
Hit us up on like Instagram or something like that.
Let us know you'll be there. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I haven't been to like a convention thing since I think I went to LA Fit, but like that's like completely different.
But this one's cool because it's such a huge CrossFit presence. Like there's going to be
mainly a CrossFit thing, right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's mainly a CrossFit thing. I think FitCon already happens. And then he's leading on the CrossFit section of it, which is why it was able to work out so fast.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but the fact is there's a huge competition happening. And there's going to be a lot of athletes there apparently and stuff like that. So CrossFit is going to be a major factor of this Fit event. So if you guys are in that area, please let us know. But that's going to be it for episode 24. We did not plan on talking about marathons for an hour, but...
That's fine with me.
I think it was good. I mean, I think that there was enough.
There's obviously a lot on my mind about this. So this has actually been really nice to talk about. And I like that you asked me like harder questions, if you want to call them that. Because it's good.
I was hoping to stick you and then make you say something that everyone was going to hate you for. And it didn't happen.
I appreciate it, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate that you really care about me.
Yep. Thank you so much for listening to episode 24. We will catch you next week in Utah. With our big friend, or our good friend, our good friend, Big Mike.